I rise to speak to motion 541 in my colleague David Ettershank's name. I would like to begin by echoing the comments of my colleague. I too love a good root, and I think it is something that everyone deserves to experience. But unfortunately, too many Victorians endure unsatisfying routes that take too long and go to all the wrong places. They trek long distances just to wait for a bus that never comes. We know that a poor quality public transport network furthers cost of living pressures, generates more pollution, increases congestion, cuts people off from essential services like education, health and employment, increases isolation and entrenches disadvantage. And yet, in Victoria, we have a bus network that is infrequent, unreliable and expensive. Melbourne's population is expected to grow rapidly in the coming years. As more and more people choose to call Melbourne home, the population will continue to spread further and further from the CBD. Without changes to our transport system, Melburnians are expected to face a 50% increase in road congestion by 2036. Aren't we all looking forward to that? Not only does this have a $1 billion cost to the economy, it is also a social cost, as anyone who is forced to regularly sit in traffic will know. Our public transport system has failed to grow with us, but change is possible and buses can adapt. And they can adapt in a fast way. In my region, the 800 bus is just one example of public transport that failed to meet community needs. This service was incredibly limited and had no timetable upgrade for over 30 years, despite the immense population growth in the area. And this is something that I have raised in this chamber several times. And thanks to the groundswell of community campaigning, we secured an upgraded service for this route. Starting in the coming weeks, Route 800 will now have a new Sunday service, a new weeknight trips, reduced weekend wait times, cutting Saturday afternoon wait from 120 minutes to 30 minutes. I'd like to give a big shout out to the hashtag #FixThe800 Bus campaign and the work of the Fix Dandy Buses group for achieving this incredible result. The 800 bus campaign was a success, but we know there are many more routes throughout Victoria that are well overdue for review. Once upon a time, there was a dream to have everyone in Melbourne living within 400 metres of a bus stop. But the reality of this dream in a growing city is that bus frequency has been reduced, travel times have increased thanks to indirect routes, and weekend services have been reduced or cut entirely. A 2023 survey by the Metropolitan Transport Forum showed that only 25% of Victorian commuters were satisfied with the current bus service, often citing infrequent services and indirect routes as the source of frustration. And what about Mikey? As recently as last week, you have had a Mikey meltdown thanks to a failure to account for the end of 3G. And despite us living in the year 2024, our ticketing system still doesn't accept anything except a Mikey. In light of recent reports about a legal standoff over the contract for Mikey's replacement, many, including myself, fear they will not live long enough to see this change. Now, we've talked a bit today about free buses, and when you think about how much money is poured into Mikey, you have to consider, is this really the best use of resources? And potentially, could we just get rid of Mikey on buses and use that to circumvent people accessing these services? Melburnians are frustrated and do deserve better. This is why our motion calls for this government to undertake a route review of bus networks, particularly in growth areas, to identify transport black spots and modify routes to reduce commute and wait times, getting people to where they need to go. This kind of network reconfiguration of Victoria's complex and inefficient bus routes has broad support from groups like Infrastructure Victoria, the RACV, the Public Transport Users Association and the Committee for Melbourne. This government has invested billions of dollars in long-term transport infrastructure like the suburban rail loop. And I'm not going to go into the merits or disagree with the project today. I only just wanted to highlight the fact that a lot of public transport investment is tied up in projects that will take many, many years, if not decades, to complete. And this offers little comfort to those who need better public transport now, which is what buses can offer. The demand on public transport systems in Victoria are only set to get worse over the next few years, unless this government invests in scalable, sustainable and cost-effective options in the short term. Like buses, the only public transport option that moves with Victorians. Better yet, what if we made these buses free? Like I mentioned earlier, you know it, I know it, and we all know it, that the cost of living crisis and hardly anyone is tapping on to begin with, so how much are we really losing? Especially when the Mikey is down because of the 3G. When times are tough, the first thing people cut are the non-essentials. Unfortunately, for many of those, it's social catch-ups with friends. But with free buses, you can use that money to save, to catch up with a friend for a coffee. We need people to get back to using public transport, something many living in the outskirts and regions have understandably put in the too hard basket. It is our hope that if they experience such a good free route, that their love of buses will be reinvigorated and call for a route review to be even louder. That's why our motion also asks the government to explore the feasibility of a 12-month trial of free bus services, providing tangible cost of living relief to those who most need it. Now, we've seen the success of that pilot program in Queensland for a 50-cent fare, which has been adopted by the new coalition government entering the Queensland government. We expect that as part of the feasibility study into a free bus trial, an education campaign would also be considered, and this could encourage a cultural shift about the benefits of jumping on a bus. Now, back to my point about Queensland, we did actually see that particularly seniors are using the bus more and more because 50 cents is affordable for them, meaning they can get around and see friends. It limits their social isolation and gets them to where they need to be. We can be tram-centric in the city, but for many Victorians, they aren't actually an option either. But like I said, this motion is for all Victorians because you deserve a world-class and cost-effective public transport system. And we hope this government gets on board. Thank you.